I've camped alone plenty of times before. I actually prefer it. No noise, no small talk, just the fire crackling and the world breathing cold around me. But this time felt different from the start. It was the dead of winter, and I'd picked a dense patch of forest about 2 hours from any real town. No cell signal. No nearby trails. Just snow, trees, and whatever silence I could find. By the time I set up my tent, dusk was already curling into the sky. I got a fire going fast. The cold had teeth tonight. As I boiled some water for soup, I heard crunching in the distance. A rabbit, I figured. Or maybe a fox. Normal stuff. But then it kept happening. Every few minutes, just past the tree line, the sound of something moving slowly. Not running. Just stalking. I called out, "Hey!" and held up my flashlight. Nothing. Just falling snow and a stretch of trees that all looked the same. But my skin prickled. Something wasn't right. You know when you just know you're being watched? I ate fast, trying to pretend it wasn't getting to me. But every time I looked up, I swore I saw something shift behind the trunks. Tall. Still. Watching. By midnight, the wind had picked up. The trees groaned like old bones, and the fire was struggling against the snow. I zipped into my tent, but I didn't sleep. Not really. Every little sound snapped me awake. Then I heard breathing. Not my own. Not wind. Heavy. Wet. Just outside the tent. I froze, barely daring to move. The zipper rustled slightly, like something brushing against it. My mind raced. Bear? Wolf? I didn't hear paw steps though. It was more deliberate. 2 feet. Then came the growl. Low, guttural. But too deep for any animal I know. It rumbled like something bigger, older. Something that shouldn't be here. I grabbed the flashlight and unzipped the tent an inch. I shouldn't have. Just beyond the glow of the fire, 2 eyes glinted back at me. But they weren't animal eyes, they were wrong. Human-shaped, but too large, too reflective. And the thing was tall. Taller than any person. Its outline blurred in the snowfall, but I saw matted fur hanging off its limbs, steam rising from its mouth. I didn't think. I just ran. Boots hit snow and I nearly slipped. I heard it behind me, crashing through the woods with a sound that vibrated in my spine. I couldn't scream. My throat wouldn't work. I just ran for the car, maybe a quarter mile down the hill. My breath felt like glass. My legs burned. I didn't dare look back. Then the snarl. Closer. I glanced over my shoulder. It was faster than anything on 2 legs should be. Long arms. A snout, maybe? Or just a warped face. Either way, it was coming. I saw the glint of my windshield through the trees and nearly collapsed. Fumbled the keys. Dropped them. Scooped them up again with numb fingers. The footsteps were right behind me. Somehow, the door opened. I slammed it shut just as something hit the side of the car with a thud. The thing pressed its face against the glass, breathing slow and foggy. Its eyes never blinked. Then it just backed away. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't move until the sun rose behind the trees. When I finally stepped out, the side of the car was dented. Huge claw marks scratched into the metal. My campsite? Torn apart. Tent shredded like paper. I never went back. Haven't camped alone since. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, I'll wake up and feel it again, that breathing. Like something found me once, and hasn't stopped watching.
After my divorce, the nights felt longer than they used to. Too quiet. Too still. I'd come home from work, pour a glass of wine, and sit in a living room that once held laughter. Now it just echoed. I wasn't looking for anything serious, just company, someone to talk to, maybe to make me feel like I still existed in someone else's world. That's when I downloaded Tinder. At first it felt silly. Swipe, match, small talk. Most conversations died after a few lines, but then there was Simon. Simon was charming, Not overbearing, not fake, just casual enough to make me feel at ease. His profile photo showed a man in his late 30s with short brown hair, a clean smile, and kind eyes. He said he liked hiking, thunderstorms, and old books. We talked for hours that night. It felt easy. He asked if I wanted to meet. I hesitated, but he said he didn't like crowded places and preferred something quiet and meaningful. He sent an address. Rural, out near some farmland according to Google Maps. About 45 minutes from me. I should have said no. I almost did. But something in me, maybe loneliness, maybe curiosity, said yes. By the time I got on the road, the rain had started. A soft drizzle at first, but quickly turning to sheets of water hammering the windshield. The wipers barely kept up. My GPS kept losing signal as I turned off the main highway and onto some cracked back roads. Trees closed in on either side, branches swaying violently in the wind. Finally, I reached a gravel driveway. No house number, no lights, just a long, overgrown path leading into trees. I parked. My phone buzzed. A message from Simon, "Come around back, the front door sticks." My gut twisted. Still, I got out, clutching my coat as the rain drenched me. Thunder cracked overhead. The house was small and rotting. Old wooden siding, shutters barely hanging on. No cars, no lights inside. I walked to the back, boots sinking into the mud. That's when I saw him. Standing under the back porch light, barely lit, was a man at least in his 60s. Tall, gaunt, wearing a flannel shirt soaked through. His hair was gray, his face wrinkled, long scars down his jawline. "Not Simon. Are you Simon?" I asked, already stepping back. He smiled, but it wasn't friendly. "Don't be scared," he said. "I just didn't want you to judge the real me." I turned and ran. I didn't wait, didn't apologize. I heard him yell something behind me, maybe my name, but I didn't stop. My boots slipped on the gravel as I dove into the car, locking the doors and fumbling with the ignition. He appeared in the mirror, walking fast now, no limp, just coming for me. I reversed so fast I nearly hit a tree. Tires spun in the mud. Lightning lit up the trees for a second, and I swear, he was smiling. I drove like hell back toward the highway, heart pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. When I finally had signal, I called 911. They took me seriously. I think the fear in my voice did most of the work. Turns out that house didn't belong to him. It had been empty for years. The man posing as Simon had been reported before. Same pattern, different women, different names. But I was the first one who got far enough for an arrest. They found him a few hours later, still in the woods. He had rope in his pocket, a knife, and multiple fake IDs. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't trusted my instinct. If I'd gone through that door. I still have Tinder on my phone, but I haven't opened it since. Some nights, I still think about that moment. The storm, the smile, the silence behind that fake profile. He wasn't looking for love. He was looking for someone who wouldn't be missed.
I never thought working nights at a gas station would lead to one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. I had just graduated high school. The plan was simple: work, save up, figure out college later. Late shifts were quiet for the most part. A couple regulars, drunk guys grabbing cigarettes, truckers fueling up and nodding politely. Nothing I couldn't handle. That night started off normal. Empty parking lot, humming fluorescent lights, radio playing softly behind the counter. I was sipping on an energy drink, scrolling through my phone when the bell above the door jingled. He walked in slow, maybe 60s. Sickly pale, sunken cheeks, eyes like he hadn't slept in days. He wore a tan coat, stained at the collar, and smelled like rust and damp leaves. I greeted him out of habit. "Evening, sir." He didn't respond, just wandered toward the back where the coolers were. I tried not to stare, but he kept looking over his shoulder at me, like he was making sure I didn't go anywhere. Then he came to the counter. 2 cans of cheap beer and a frozen burrito. "Rough night?" I said, trying to be polite. That's when he leaned in, breath reeking of metal and rot. "You got a pretty mouth, boy. Bet it makes real nice sounds when you're scared." I froze. It wasn't just the words, it was the way he smiled after saying it, like he was testing how much he could get away with. "Sir, you need to leave," I managed. He stared a few seconds longer, then chuckled like I was in on some joke I didn't understand. "See you real soon." He walked out, left the beer and the burrito. My skin was crawling. I locked the front doors, checked the bathroom, looked behind the dumpster when I took the trash out at midnight. By 2 a.m., my shift ended. I tried brushing it off. Creeps come and go. Just part of the job, right? But as I walked to my car, I saw something. Across the street, under the busted street lamp, he was standing there, not moving, just watching. I didn't say anything, didn't even break stride. I unlocked my car, got in, and drove off without looking back. Told myself he was just some sick old man and I'd never see him again. I was wrong. At 3:13 a.m., I woke up to a soft tapping. At first, I thought it was the heat kicking in, but then I heard it again, this time clearer. Tap, tap, tap. On the glass, my window. I sat up, heart hammering. The blinds swayed slightly like someone had brushed against them. Then came the sound of a doorknob, my doorknob, turning slowly, jiggling, pausing, then trying again. I grabbed the bat I kept under my bed, moved slow, quiet. I reached the front door, held my breath, nothing. Then a whisper, right outside. Mark, my name. He knew my name. I backed away, nearly tripping over a chair. The knob stopped rattling. Silence. I turned around, and standing in the middle of my living room, somehow already inside, was him. His eyes were bloodshot, his lips cracked. In his hand, he held a jagged piece of glass, red along the edge. I told you, he said, voice low and slurred. I'd see you again. I screamed, threw the bat. It missed. I ran for the back door, locked, fumbled with the key. Behind me, I heard glass crunch. He had stepped on a photo frame I'd knocked over. I sprinted down the hallway, past the kitchen, back out the side door, and banged on my neighbor's apartment across the hall, still screaming. Thankfully, they were awake. Maybe they'd heard the commotion. They opened the door and pulled me inside, locking it behind me as I collapsed onto the floor, gasping. The police were called. But when they arrived, the man was gone. No signs of forced entry, no blood, not even the piece of glass. Just vanished. They searched the area, took my statement, asked if I was under any stress, treated me like I was hallucinating. But I know what I saw. I moved 2 weeks later, changed jobs, bought pepper spray, double-checked every window, every lock. Sometimes I still hear tapping in the night, and sometimes I wonder if he's still out there, waiting for the next kid working a graveyard shift.